It was a gun.
I'm not voting.
If we want to build our nation.
The problem with the Somalians.
Just want to experience something else than a black man.
Move on, move
Can't be like
forward.
a horse with blinkers on.
Honestly say, I was about to have
Corrupt
sex and then I pulled
crap,
up.
but it's nice.
My name is Nazir Sunday. I'm a farmer in this area around us. This is the Philippine horticulture area.
My name is Brent Samuels. I live in Lansdowne and I'm a beekeeper.
My name is Tozama Siboto. I stay in 15th Avenue. I've got a farm there, small holding.
My name is Sibongile Sijebi. I'm one of the micro farmers in the Cape Flats.
My name is Musima Pale. I'm an emerging farmer in Philippi.
Our area, the Philippine horticulture area, is so important on so many different levels. For me personally, it's where I can farm, right? I can farm, and I'm very close to my market, where I can sell my produce to my customers. So from a business sense, it makes I don't have to travel an hour with a truck to bring my goods to the market. So it's very easy to sell my produce. But this area is important because it's a very productive area and it has been so for over 100 years. And so, what makes it so productive is that we have a lot of water. In the area, all our farmers get water from the Cape Flats aquifer, which is underneath us.
I run a small-scale little farm that is about 20 minutes from my clients. It would be, it would be quite a problem. I've calculated it actually on how much it would be if I had to farm in Atlantis. In fact, it will change the whole model of farming. You're actually more prone to go monoculture and use a lot of chemicals. I do organic farming, by the way. And a targeted market is a niche market that I can get to the door. People can actually come into the farm and pick up boxes. So the distance is it's like a big bonus having to have distance here.
I've got a small holding, and which cannot accommodate all my cattle and other stuff like pigs and goats. So I have to go to Mamre. Now I'm feeding there and here. So if we have got land here in Philippi, that means I'll bring all my stuff here and I create jobs for other people, the youngsters.
Personally, from my childhood, it's a place that I grew up in. Chase birds, rode horses. And I've now learned, as I've got older, sort of learned how valuable the area actually is. But mostly I also see how valuable the area is for the people on the ground level. The people from Grassy Park, the people from Kefter, the people from all the surrounding areas. Because like it used to be in ancient day, farming and agriculture is also, I would say, it's an incredible medium to empower the people in the nation. That they are also... And can contribute to, I would say, a new culture that we're really committed to create, as where we, especially in Africa, where we got this blessed land, and we need to feed ourselves, and we can grow incredible food crops to sustain the next human beings to come.
The livestock traders of this area supply a lot of the cultural and economic needs of the Cape Flats communities, like the religious communities, of the Muslims, and also the Xhosa communities for their cultural traditions, and they all come into our area and buy animals, and we forget that they're also a very important function of the area.
In the Cape Flats, people, they're just selling meat next to the road. They're having some stands there. Even if the rain is raining, they are there to sell their meat.
Yeah, but what about this whole thing about over the years? I remember my grandfather's backyard. There's a small backyard where we grew a lot of vegetables. In my grandfather's backyard. Yeah. And my father's generation, he didn't do that, but he started growing lawns and flowers and stuff, you know. And now I'm thinking, hey, actually, you know, we should be going back to growing stuff that we can eat, you know. I mean, you know, the food is actually much better to plant than lawns, you know.
I stay in Lansdowne and I've created, I would say, an urban farm that I'm very passionate about, that I see is very valuable for my family. And on my urban farm is my own veggies. I do chickens, you know, for eggs and that kind of thing. And I find it's the kind of way forward for a lot of communities to be also interested in your urban. I mean, how can you actually utilize your property? So I think from here, a lot of education can spill over into the communities, even if you've got a small backyard. So, I mean, if you go to a lot of people's backyards and things, it's not really utilized. If I look at my own place, I don't have a big place, but if I look at how I can maximize my property in terms of growing veg and, once again, creating a culture on the Cape Flats. I think let's specifically start with the Cape Flats, because the Cape Flats is blessed, the land is incredible, the people's amazing. And we need to create a culture where people are interested in growing their own crops, and we are recycling and we're putting back into nature, because at some point nature will always look after us. But currently the way things is going, it needs to be somehow drastically stopped, people inspired to green up the place, you know, because greenery just is like, it's just for the benefit of the children. Visually it's pleasing. I mean, it's so it works in all kinds of realms, you know, spiritually and for food.
I think if we can kind of encourage the people around us to do that, then we can start taking the power in our hands about our own food security, you know. I mean, we don't have to all go to the shops to buy food.
Yeah.
There's a problem that food is very expensive.
Yeah, because now food is very expensive. You can see now a bag of potatoes, you buy it at 90 rands, you see, which is 7 kgs, you see. So, yeah, it's a lot of expenses, you see. And then, yeah, like, if we can get this PHA, because of its aquifer, our people won't pay more, because in the places that we are farming at now, yeah, we need to pay rents, we rent for water, we rent for electricity. So here there's too much water, where we can't rent for water. You see, yeah, we can keep that money for other purposes. Yeah.
Our water actually is free for farmers. All we have to do is buy a pump, and we put the well point down, and that's it. Then we never pay for water, you see. And it's a blessing, you know. The water is a blessing here. And so it makes me very angry if people want to destroy this and put up houses and shops and malls and those kind of things, because that can happen in other areas, you know.
Okay, so I mean, look, how do people support? So in a case like this, I think the main topic over here is what we're standing for, and what our fight for here is to keep this an agricultural area that it can actually always contribute to the people. What's critical in the situation is that there is now structures that want to sell off the land and build housing. So inside of that, there is always going to be a very few groups of human beings that's going to get very rich, because it's always a capitalist conversation. This is not this is a kind of a serious matter. It's like a kind of a war we together with, and it's not just one or two people. It's powerful people with lots of money, and we are a group of people, little farmers that just want to farm, but somehow we have now, like Nazir has been, I would say, the pioneer in stepping up and actually going to meetings single-handedly and standing for a big place like this. I think it's minimal that a group of us, there should be a couple of thousand people behind us today to say that this thing shouldn't be touched, because it's actually our land. So I think we need the people to know that this is our land. This is not one guy's land that's going to get a couple of $1 million in putting up houses that he's not really interested in how it's going to disturb the drainage, where's the bees going to go. There's going to be an absolute disaster waiting to happen.
The fight to save this area has been coming on a long, long time. Since 2009 already. The developers proposed for this area has actually been stopped. But somehow it's going on, you know. So people have raised the matter. The politicians at the time made decisions that they're going to stop it. But then new politicians come in with new ideas and new interests, and the developer is just behind the scenes always pumping for the development, you see. They got a lot of money, they got a lot of resources, they can do this for 5 years, you know, and we can't do that because we are working. You know, there are a lot of people who have taken a lot of time and energy to help in this struggle, and so some have gone, some have come back, some have new ones have joined, and because we can't do this full time. This is not a paying job here. Struggling for our rights is not a paying job. We struggle for our rights because we feel that this is what we must do. Without us struggling for these rights, then we might as well roll over and be dead.
This place is good to create jobs for our communities because it's nearer to where people are living. And most of our people, they like to farm, but they don't have some spaces. Yeah, as you can see, we are just farming in schoolyards or church yards. Yeah, so it's important to get this place whereby everybody can do things free.
Yeah, it's quite important. I get what you're saying because, you know, when you are stuck in the city and there you only have a little piece of backyard farming, that you want to upgrade and graduate from that. And being not so far from Philippi horticultural areas, it's just an information thing as well. I think we just got so much vital information that is hidden from us, like knowing how much rent is here in Philippi and how we can access land is a very tiring job. You have to go through a lot of politics and a lot of people, barriers mainly, to sort of even get the land. So imagine that when it is so far away from the people, eventually, it's a disaster.
I feel this land definitely is a foundation for all the people to come, be educated, to learn, to grow and to thrive on, and to, I would say, to join a community that needs to be joined. And I think farming and this area has the power and the energy versus a lot of houses and a lot of construction and that kind of thing. So the people needs it.
My dream is to learn how to do this farming and then go back to Eastern Cape, so that I can teach other people there.
My dream is to have land.
My dream about my bee farming is that I got a relationship to the honeybee itself, that for as long as we're around as human beings, that the bees get recognized and get acknowledged and get taken care of.
My dream is to sort of develop myself in that piece of land enough to actually buy that piece of land.
My main dream is that our area, the Philippi horticulture area, is protected.
Yazi, you should ever sit and talk with people, or else take a walk and create a straight talk. Talk what is nice, it will make you feel stronger. Listen what is right and say what is wrong. You should ever sit and talk with people, or else take a walk and create a straight talk. Talk what is nice, it will make you feel stronger. Listen what is right and say what is wrong.
I don't have to travel an hour with a truck to bring my goods to the market, so it's very easy to sum up my produce. But this area is important because it's a very productive area and it has been so for over 100 years. And so, what makes it so productive is that we have a lot of water in the area. All our farmers get water from the Cape Flats aquifer, which is underneath us.
I run a small-scale little farm that is about 20 minutes from my clients. It would be, it would be quite a problem. I've calculated it actually on how much it would be if I had to farm in Atlantis. In fact, it will change the whole model.
This is the Philippi horticulture area.
My name is Brent Samuels. I live in Lansdowne and I'm a beekeeper.
My name is Tozama Simoto. I stay in 15th Avenue. I've got a farm there, small holding.
My name is Bongile Sijebi. I'm one of the micro farmers in the Cape Flats.
My name is Musima Pale. I'm an emerging farmer in Philippi.
Our area, the Philippi horticulture area, is so important on so many different levels. For me personally, it's where I can farm, right? I can farm and I'm very close to my market, where I can sell my produce to my customers. So from a business sense, it makes it.
It was a Khan.
Not voting.
If we want to build our nation,
The problem with the Somalians.
Just want to experience something else than a black man.
Move on, move
Can't be like
forward.
a horse with blinkers on.
Honestly say, I was about to have sex
Corrupt
and then I pulled
crap,
up.
but it's nice.
My name is Nazir Sunday. I'm a farmer in this area around us.